Hi, I'm Glenn Whipp with the Los Angeles Times. Queen Sugar is going to be coming back for a second season in 2 weeks, over 2 nights. One night cannot contain this show. 2-night premiere in 2 weeks. Joining us from the show, Rutina Wesley. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah. You know, we get a lot of questions for these interviews from readers, viewers. I'm going to, usually I save them for the end. I'm going to dive into a few just now because we've got some good ones.
Okay.
Okay. Kirby Alexis wants to know, what helps you ground yourself in Nova's experience?
That's a great question. I use a lot of music in my roles, and because Nova is so spiritual in herself, that I use music that kind of quiets me before I kind of start a scene. But the writing is so great that a lot of times I just have to speak, and I immediately am right where I need to be. It's almost like Shakespeare. Everything I need is always on the page. And it's comforting having that in TV, like writing where you can just kind of go right in.
Right.
So music does help. And then I just, you know,
So what's
I have
on,
great scene
I have
partners.
to ask, what's on your playlist then?
I can't tell. That's letting
What's
my
Nova's-
secrets out. What's
yeah.
Nova? She's a little
What's
bit of
Nova's
everything. There's some classical, there's jazz, hip hop, R&B. It just
All right.
depends on where her mood is shifting, and it's always shifting. She's a beautiful mess, as I like to
Yeah.
say. So you never know where
So
she's
it
going to go.
depends on the scene, depends on what you need to conjure up there.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. We have a question from an Ava D from Los Angeles here. She wants you to tell a story here.
Oh no.
Said that you and Don Lin had an encounter in the hallway at your audition, and she wants you to tell that story.
Okay. Yeah, we were testing on the same day, and I had no idea she was going to be there. And so I walked out of my audition, and there she was. And I hadn't seen her in some years. And I looked at her, and I was like, and she was like, I so needed to see you right now. And we just like hugged. And I remember Ava was in the room. She didn't witness this, but the casting directors were like, well, do they know each other? You know, because we're hugging. And then I was like, okay, you got to go. You're going to be great. I love you. Oh my God. I can't believe you're going to be, And then it was really brief, but she was just the person I needed to see, because Don and I have been consistent since we've been in school at Juilliard together. We've always, it's never shifted. Whenever I see her, we're right back where we left off. And she looked like Charlie to me. Like her hair was laid. She had her, like the pencil skirt on. And I just couldn't, it was a lot to take in. And then when Ava called me and said, you know, I've also cast Don Lin, I think I almost dropped the phone. I was so, because she's so great. She's so talented. And she's an amazing person. What you see is what you get. And so when you see us connect on screen, it's the exact same off screen. She has my back. I can trust her. The same with Kofi. We're family, and we gelled immediately, you know. But Don and I have 10 years or so now, if not more, over 10 years of knowing each other. And now getting to play sisters, it's just like, it's easy for us, you know, because we know each other really well. And that was the most amazing experience. I mean, that's like fate to me, walking out of a audition and just seeing someone who you know, and just the possibility of like, oh my God, what if we both get this? Like, how great would that be to spend more time with you, to even get to know you better, you know? So
Did you talk after the audition too?
we finally talked once we had both been cast, but it was like a 3-hour conversation because we hadn't talked in
You had a lot
forever.
to catch up
Yeah,
on. Yeah.
we did, and it was really beautiful, you know. That's been the best part for me, is having her here. Like I said, because that's the easy stuff. Like, there's no egos. We just can get to the work, and that's the important part.
I mean, from that first episode, there seems such a strong connection.
Yeah.
Not just between the sisters, but I mean, with all the siblings. I mean, it's just that family connection. The casting just seems so spot on, you know.
Yeah,
Did you guys work on that?
You know, we did have some rehearsals before we shot, but Ava cast for Spirit, and I think we all have similar spirits that just gelled really well together. And
How would you describe those spirits?
Well, I mean, it's kind of like the siblings. Like, I'm an older spirit, and then you have Don in the middle, and then you have Kofi, who's like the baby. And I mean, maybe I'm like the strength, and Dawn is like the planner, and then I feel like a Ralph Angel, you know, Kofi is coming into himself. I mean, he's still trying to figure out life after incarceration. So it's interesting to see him grow in his journey as a character. But it kind of fits right in with who we are as people, which I love that. So
Yeah. Okay, we have a question from an Oprah W. Okay, it's just Oprah.
No
we
pressure.
don't even need the
No
W.
pressure.
But here's what she wants to know. I have a feeling this is going in the magazine, so sounds like one of those questions. What is your workout routine? Your arms are astonishing.
Oh my gosh, genetics. Both my parents were dancers, but I do Pilates. And it's really great for the body because it's just your own resistance, body resistance. So it's really great. I used to do a lot of push-ups when I was in school, but then I was bulking up and I was looking a little weird. So Pilates is great because it helps you stay lean and trim and strong as well, but without the bulk. So thank you.
There you go.
My Angela Bassett arms.
You had, like one of your first jobs, wasn't it? You did a workshop for Color Purple.
Yes.
So your connection,
You're killing me.
talk about connections, your connection with Oprah, goes back a ways, doesn't it?
It does. I think that was 2006, and I feel like if you had told me then that, don't worry, you're gonna be fine, you'll see her, you'll meet her later, I wouldn't have believed you. That was my first job out of school, and also my first sort of, I didn't get to move on, so it was like a first for me, and it took a lot for me to kind of pick my head back up and realize I'm enough, and what is for you, and your time will come. And here I am almost 10 years later, and with Dawn and with Oprah and Ava, and I could have never guessed that would have happened. And I'm ready now. Like, I don't know if I was quite ready then. I was really green, super nervous. And so when this role came, it just fit with where I was in my career. I was ready to take it on, full speed ahead, and Ava creates such a safe place for us to work and play as artists, and that truly helps the environment. And we're always at our best. We can't help be at our best because that's the environment that she's put out there for us. So, and it's important because our characters are so nuanced, and it's important that you can really create in a space that allows for the rawness, and sometimes, the topics you don't want to talk about, the feelings that you don't want to really feel. We get to go in so many different directions with each other, and then, hug it out at the end of the day, So it's comforting to have a set like that, to be in an environment like that. It really is. I'm still in shock a little bit that like 10 years later, I'm like, but really? I've met her and I'm working with her. It's just like, she's amazing.
Is that what it was like when you met her for the first time? Or?
Yeah, I was hiding. I hid for a minute. They told me, they're like, Oprah's here, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna hide. And so I hid, and then when I came out, she just opened her arms and gave me this big hug, and it was genuine. I felt her whole self of love, and I see you, and I will never, ever, ever forget that day. She's gracious and genuine and real in a sense of she really sees you. Mm-hmm. And I appreciated that from the moment, And I remember she sat right across from me in the table read, and I was like, really, guys? Right across from me? Oh my God, I was freaking out. But she was in it, and she was cheering us on, and sometimes we had to pause because she was like, wait a minute, I need a minute, and then we move on. But it was it's lovely to have someone who really is on your team, who's really behind you and stands behind you and with you. And I couldn't ask for a better producers, a better crew, a better cast. Like, it's kind of it is a gem, Queen Sugar, I feel, because all the right pieces are together at the right time. And so it's kind of nice to have that.
Yeah, her enthusiasm is contagious.
It is.
Yeah, and she is a hugger, so.
She is, and I'm a hugger too. So I didn't expect. I was just like, oh my gosh, she's holding me. I can feel it. Yeah, it was beautiful. It was really beautiful.
Now with season
to cry, I'll be all right.
Season 2 coming up.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I mean, one of many things that distinguished season 1, just from a behind the scenes point of view, was that all episodes were directed by women.
Yes.
Coming back, and we were just talking about this before we started rolling here, but coming back season 2, again, all women, but pretty much different women.
Yep, all new directors
Just-
again.
Just blew me away when you told me that.
Well, it's really amazing because, like I said, earlier when we were talking, it's possible. I mean, because we're doing it and it's happening. And each female director that we get in there is so collaborative and so excited about the material and about the cast and crew that they just gel right in. And it really helps keep Queen Sugar in that really sort of nuanced, multi-layered space that it's in. And they have great ideas.
Yeah.
And I just love it because it's opened the doors for so many women who've been beating down doors for
Right.
years trying to get in. And you
They've
just
got,
need
like,
one crack.
Right, you've got 13 episodes first season.
Yep.
16 second
16
season.
now.
Now there's a couple of women who are directing multiple episodes, but we're talking like 25 women getting a chance, and that there are 25 women out there who are great directors, and you watch the show and they're killing it.
They're killing it, yeah. It's I mean, I love it because it's just like it's an incredible journey because they're each different. But like I said, they each bring something of themselves to it, and they really care about the work and the craft. And I think that is important, and that's what keeps us going. There's no egos. I mean, they're all just just as excited as we are to be there. So it's important to have that collaboration when our show is very sensitive, and some of the topics that we bring up, they're right there with us. So I just think it's fabulous. But Ava's a mastermind. I call her. She's brilliant, and she could do anything. I mean, I've only known her for just a short amount of time, but I'm like, what can't you do, and do well, and with heart, you know? And I feel like we come from a place of openness and graciousness, and hopefully, I think our audiences are seeing that in our connections because we start here as a cast,
Yeah, I mean, you were talking earlier about this is a good timing for you. This is your moment. I think it's her moment too.
It is.
You see all the things that she's doing right now. She worked hard to get to that place, as you did as well.
Right.
As so many people do, and you work hard to get to that place, and now you're taking advantage of it.
Right, and you never know when it's going to come because we
Right.
all work hard, but sometimes you don't know when you're going to get that result that you want or the reward that you want, whatever you want to call it. But when it comes, it usually comes when you're ready for it.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
I've kind of learned over the years.
We have we have questions about season 2. People
Okay.
want it.
They
people
wanna
wanna know. One asked, what can we expect from Nova and Calvin this season? You knew that was coming, right?
The $1 million question. Yeah, we left them in a really, they were in a place. We left them in a place. And what do you do after that? How does one move forward or how? We will deal with it, definitely. But Nova, her overall theme this season is legitimacy and figuring out love and how to be loved as she struggles with the death of her father. And it's going to be difficult for her to navigate all of those things. She loves Calvin, and I think we're just going to have to figure out. You will see. I'm not going to tell you too much, but you'll see her struggle with it, and maybe figure it out, maybe not. I'm not going to give you too much. But yeah, it is interesting because it's hard to talk about that moment. That's a moment for me that was so traumatizing for her. But he was there. But how does one shift through that? What's the experience going to be for them? So that is the $1 million question, and you'll just have to watch and see.
2 weeks, we can,
Yeah,
start
yeah, it's coming.
This was an interesting question from Kate Newton. She was asking, has the increasing hostility toward the media impacted how you portray Nova's work as an investigative journalist?
Has
that filtered in? There's, a lot of hostility out there right now toward journalists.
Yeah. I don't know if it's filtered in the sense of maybe it has in a way that Nova is this year. Like she's not just going to be writing their article. She's really going to be active out there on the front lines and really getting into the community with her voice and her presence as well. And I think that's important to see someone who's not just behind the scenes and writes a fantastic article, but you see her at the rallies, you see her with the people, because she really cares about her community. And it's so timely because of the issues that we have going on with incarceration, with police brutality. So it does fire me up, and I do feel a certain responsibility to speak truth to power and to really be as authentic as possible when I play her in certain parts. But it's not an anger. I think it's a love of the community, and so she comes from a place of love and hope. And I think our show is about, moving forward as a community and the world community, and always trying to remain hopeful and hoping that we can come to, a better place in life where we can all feel equal, and whatever that is for each person in its individual thing. But that we can all maybe one day really see each other, and not kind of be behind these masks where people can really feel like they can walk around the world like this is me, and this is okay.
I think that's one reason why people have responded to the character so well.
Yeah.
I mean, and a character that was not in the novel, so
Yeah, no.
you guys created her whole cloth.
Yeah, and I love Nova because I really feel like she comes from a place that's not necessarily with judgment. She really does come from her heart, and I feel like a lot of times we do judge. We're quick to assume. And so I've learned a lot by playing her. She's incredibly smart. She's a hypocrite sometimes. She's messy, but I get it. And I have an understanding of that. And I don't judge her, you know? And I think that's the key for me is without judgment though. Just see her. You don't have to judge, but you could see it and understand it in a way, whether you agree with it or not.
Yeah, the contradictions are part of the fun.
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
I mean, because we all have them.
We all have them. Life is messy sometimes, but it also triumphs, and there are times when we are all winning, and those are the greatest times, I feel like, when the world is winning. We all feel it, and so hopefully we can get closer to that place. I'm hoping. I'm hoping our show can help to heal that aspect, actually.
We've been asking some questions of everyone who comes in, just same questions. So one is, what is the last TV show that you binge watched?
That's gonna date me. That I binge
busy.
watched? I have been busy. I was all about So You Think You Can Dance, Idol, Biggest Loser. But they gave me hope, and I'm a dancer at heart. Dance is my first love. So I love entertainment in that way. And also, I just love seeing people overcome obstacles and really find a better place to be in themselves. And so I love shows like that. Yeah, I had to take it way back there because I was serious about So You Think You Can Dance. Like, I didn't miss it. I was like glued to the TV, It was one of my favorite shows. So, yeah.
Well, maybe that's going to factor into your answer to the next question, which would be, if you could be cast on any classic TV show, what would it be? I mean, I guess you could be a contestant on So You Think You Can Dance, but maybe you want to go more of a dramatic way here.
You know what? I would love to have been a part of Living Single. Let me take it all the way back. Because that was one of the first times we've seen Black women with their natural hair and really confident in it. And so I would have loved to just be a guest star or something, on there. Because it was really great at the time that it came out and where we are now with it. So, I love that show. Loved it.
Now, and what was your first acting job? Was it The Color Purple, or was there something before that?
No, I think The Color Purple was my first job out of college. That was my first sort of paid gig. Yeah, and then I did a movie and like my scene got cut. Like I was like, that happens? Why'd you cut me? But that's how you learn. You learn, and I'm glad I learned those things early on so that I can just take things with a grain of salt and just keep it moving. Because like I said, some things are for you and some are not, and you just have to keep moving forward. You always have to move forward. You can't get stuck in the past and all of that, and you have to keep your head up. As hard as it is, sometimes you have to physically go, okay, I'm okay. You know, sometimes you have other people holding you up, but it's good when you can yourself go, I'm enough and I'll be okay. But yeah, that's why it hit me hard, because it was my first job, The Color Purple, and it hit me in a way that was like, oh, a dose of the business, okay, but that's okay. And then now I'm here, you know, and I love to tell that story so that young artists know that sometimes you get it and sometimes you don't, and it's okay if you don't.
Right.
Because look at where you can be, you know, if you keep, you know, striving to be better, stay driven, stay focused, and stay confident in your craft and in your talent, you'll be all right.
Yeah, that's good to hear for young artists, and I don't think you can't really hear it enough.
No, because when you're
hard.
in it, it's hard to
Yeah.
hear, you know, because
Yeah.
you're in your own little zone
Yeah.
and world. So I try to say it when I can so people can understand that life can get better and it will move without you knowing it's moving, you know, and it will be all right.
Yeah. Well, thank you so
Yeah,
much
thank you
for
for
coming
having
in.
me.
It's been fun. And for more of these Emmy conversations, please go to latimes.com. Thanks for watching.